As the offseason continues for the Nuggets, we still look at the finals and see what's going on with the Pacers versus Thunder. And what moves are the Nuggets going to do in this offseason? Let's find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets or NBA basketball. So, we've been waiting we're in the dog days right now of the offseason, just waiting slowly for this season to end as we watch other teams in the finals and not us. Meanwhile, we still have the best player in the world, and we're watching these other guys compete for that chip that we haven't been to in now a couple of years. So as we look at the Pacers versus Thunder, it's been a while since I think about almost close to a week now since I've talked to, and since then we've had game 1 and game 2 of this series. And I've got to tell you, game 1, I did not think that the Pacers were going to win. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Pretty much a lot of, if not everyone, thought that the Thunder were going to win that game. Pretty much up until that last single second of the game. I remember I was actually out and about. I figured, all right, Thunder are gonna win. No matter what the Pacers do, they keep on getting it down to 5 or 3, and then the Thunder get it back to 9. Thunder are going to win this game, so I might as well just call it and head out and do my errands. And as I was waiting at a stoplight, I looked at my phone to check the score and saw the Pacers freaking won. I was blown away. I was so happy. I don't know about you all. I was so happy. I mean, it even sunk in even more, how happy I was, because it wasn't just that the Pacers won, but that they stole the win from the Thunder. I love that. That just makes me feel all nice, warm inside. The entire time OKC was so arrogant, thinking they were going to win. I mean, we all thought they were going to win. And then here the Pacers do what the Pacers have done this entire postseason, and yet no one has caught on, me included, and they come and they steal the win. That was amazing. And then you had all these people who thought they were going to go home happy with a win, go home with that L. It just fills me with so much glee and happiness to see OKC fans leaving their own arena, their home arena, with an L. Take that, Thunder fans. Y'all aren't as big as you think you are. I just can't stand how Thunder fans act as if they have 10 championships. They don't even have one. I do not count that one in 1979 for the Supersonics, because y'all aren't the Supersonics. And I'm pretty sure you would even agree with me. You're the Thunder, not the Sonics. And man, so happy that the Pacers won. So then we look over this, right? Look, it's starting to look very similar to the Nuggets versus Thunder round 2 series. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the Pacers only lost one game in the first 2 rounds. They lost 2 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, but each time they battled back, they won afterwards. I don't think this is going to be as easy as Thunder fans think it will be. Now, if we look at the Thunder, they swept the very, very easy Grizzlies in round 1. Had their most difficult series against the Nuggets in round 2 and almost lost that, but won thanks to the refs, and then dominated the Timberwolves. They, especially after dominating the Timberwolves, getting some rest after that, they kind of feel like, oh yeah, we got this finals in the bag. We're gonna walk away with it. And then the Pacers come and they steal game 1. But they don't look as dominant again against the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton has been kind of a no-show for most of the playoffs until the last couple of minutes, the minutes where it counts. Siakam has actually been the one doing the most heavy lifting for the Pacers. OKC just doesn't look as dominant. Yes, Cason Wallace is still an annoying menace. Same with Alex Caruso. And SGA is going to be SGA. But short of that, you got J-Dub and Chet, who are both no-shows right now in this finals. Hartenstein has been the one big that has been giving you something, but I honestly love seeing the OKC not be dominant. We've seen them cruise this entire season so easily, So seeing them actually struggle to win a game is just really refreshing. But when you look at these two games, you see that the Pacers won game one in the very last seconds, exactly the same way that the Nuggets won, with even down to a fraction of a second left, right? And then they try to do a Hail Mary and no go, and sure enough, the Pacers won. And then you get the game two, and I guarantee you that if the Pacers had won game two, I would have been sold that they're winning the chip. But obviously, you have to give the Thunder credit. They aren't going to go down 2 games in the first part of the series, especially at home. They're going to battle back, and they're going to win. It's just a matter of how many points are they going to win. Now, they didn't have as big of a win against the Pacers as they did against the Nuggets in that series game 2, but they still won in a dominant fashion, winning pretty effectively against the Pacers. Already, it's very similar to the Nuggets and Thunder series. Now it's just kind of where do the Pacers learn from that series to be able to actually capitalize on any kind of momentum that they might have and upset this whole thing and take the chip. So what can the Pacers do now in game 3 and 4 in Indiana to give them the edge in this series? If we're thinking about it, I really think that Tyrese Halliburton needs to show up more than just in the final minutes. He needs to go off and have a 30-plus point game. Then you also have to have Siakam be consistent and also go for a high 20, maybe low 30-point game. And then you need more from Obi Toppin. Benedict Mathurin needs to be even more aggressive with his defense. Same thing with Nembhard. I love how Nembhard is throwing SGA off, and he's getting him frustrated to the point where SGA is shoving him. If it was someone else shoving SGA, I guarantee you the refs would call it a flagrant, but it's SGA, so they let him get away with shoving people. Kind of bullshit that us Nuggets fans hate to see. You also need Nesmith to be the clutch or the crucial part of this whole team that he was in the Knicks series, where he made 9 threes in a row. You need that again. It's definitely going to take a complete team effort from the Pacers, but you have to have these these certain players step up. Biggest thing for me is that I need Halliburton to step up. He needs to be more than just the clutch player. He needs to actually have that big game. And he needs to have 2. He needs to be a little bit more consistent. I think that the Pacers partied a little bit too much after game 1, and that's kind of a big thing with game 2. I saw a video where he was recording himself at 4 o'clock in the morning, having come back from the club, and he had a couple girls with him, and he was calling out to, I forget who it was exactly, but it was another celebrity or whatever. And that kind of mentality already was what are you doing, dude? You're in the finals. There's no time to celebrate yet. Yeah, you won game 1, but if that's the one you're going to celebrate on, then you've already lost this series. So they need to lock in more and make sure that the job's not done. You have one game. The series is tied right now. It can very easily go against you, and the Thunder will go up 2 or 1 in this next 2 games, it is definitely more stress is put on the Pacers right now to win both game 3 and 4. I think those are bigger games for the Pacers than it is for OKC, because once you get back to Oklahoma for game 5, most likely the Thunder are going to win game 5. I do not see another outcome like game 1 happening in game 5 in Oklahoma. Like, they might lose one game, but you already won the one game on the road. Now, if you win both games in Indiana, and then you win in game 6 in Indiana, you got it, you know? You just got to keep that aggressive defense against the Thunder. Like, meet their defense head on. They've been such a pesky, annoying defense, especially Caruso. Like, anywhere else, he would have put it up with a flagrant foul or gotten fined or whatever for all the aggressiveness that he's doing. But for some reason, everything in the Thunder gets just passed away by the refs. So, you know, the Pacers need to clamp down and continue to play the way that they've been playing that has gotten them this far. And a lot of people have been saying that they need to slow it down. And part of that is true. But part of it also is in their identity. They have made it this far because they play so fast. They force their opponents to have to think quicker. And when you slow it down, then you're giving them a little extra time. You're giving Caruso time to poke the ball away. You're giving SGA time to get an offensive foul. So, or Dort, freaking Dort. I keep on forgetting about him because I just don't want to think about him. He is just an annoying player, but he is a part of that team that is unfortunately successful in drawing the fouls. Him and SGA, like, good God. But, you know, then you also need more from their bench. Shepherd needs to show up. Bryant needs to show up. I mean, come on, man. You want to chip with the Nuggets. I know you didn't really do much in that, but still show that you're more than what you are. I would love to see Bryant win another chip. Any former Nugget win another chip is golden for me. So, except if your name is Hartenstein. Like, Hartenstein, I do not accept to win a chip as long as he's in OKC. If he goes to another team, fine, he can win a chip there, but not in OKC. I'm just bitter like that. But let's move on to our beloved Denver Nuggets. So, Nuggets news. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We got that one big news of Kroenkes naming David Adleman as the head coach, and ever since then, they've been radio silent. There is no news on who the new GM is, if there's any kind of other movement happening within the organization. We did get a little news of them letting go a bunch of the coaches and the staff. I know Popeye Jones got let go, and a bunch of the defense coordinator got let go. And so it kind of makes sense. If you're Adleman, you want to make sure that you have more of your guys in the lineup before a new GM takes over and tries to hire their people. But again, when you're doing that, you're already setting up friction between the head coach and the GM. So that a little bit worries me, but not very much. I just really want whoever the GM is needs to work closely with Adleman. They need to be connected and on the same page this time, so that the Nuggets are put in the best position to move forward. So now the fact that we don't know who the GM is leaving us all to speculate even more and come up with our own conspiracy theories. So let's go down this road. What could this mean? Does this mean that Ben Tesser doesn't have the job? That they are seriously considering other candidates? If he was in the front running, you would think he would have been already announced, you know? when watching the DMVR podcast, the guys there speculated that the Kroenkes have issues to deal with the Rapids right now that ends today. So hopefully maybe later this week, maybe tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. Obviously, there's only 3 days left in this week. So maybe one of those days they have a press conference to announce the GM. If not, maybe next week. Who knows, Hopefully they do it soon. But then what does a successful offseason look like for the Nuggets? What moves do they make given they aren't able to make a ton of moves? What could they do that would make the fans, us fans, feel excited about the new season? So let's go down this path. Number one, obviously you got to name a new GM. Whoever that is, you got to name a new GM. And that GM, whoever you're naming, will have an effect on the vibes moving forward. If it's a GM that we all know and love, we're definitely the vibes are gonna be pretty high. If we don't know the GM, then we're gonna be very skeptical and already very negative on the outlook of this offseason and the introduction into the new season. So then if it's, someone within the organization, a certain Ben Tenser, maybe you get a little bit of negativity, maybe you get a little positivity, like it's a kind of a mixed mix, but at least it's not all negative. So that's a huge thing, I feel like. Number one is they gotta find a new GM. I'm okay if they were able to snag Tim Connolly. I mean, he did give MPJ a max contract, which has been plaguing us ever since. But he also made a lot of the moves that we needed to have made to be able to win the chip originally, even though he wasn't here for that. Most of the big moves were already made when Booth came into power. So, having him back in, maybe that helps. And I could dig it, I don't know about Bob Myers. If they were to approach him, I think that could go one of two ways. Obviously, it could go horribly or it could go amazingly. I don't think there's any in between with that one, because I think a lot of people look at certain people's success in the league and they assume that if you bring them over to another organization that they're going to have that same success, that they have a consistency. And short of like a handful of players and a handful of staff members in the league, there's not a lot of people that are actually consistent when you move them from team to team. And now Bob Myers has been out, he's been a commentator for so long now that can he actually run the team the same way that he ran the championship level Warriors team? I don't know. And then you look at Ben Tenser, and at least he is familiar with how the Nuggets have been running. And he could work with the Kroenkes in devising a vision to move forward from where we are right now. He's already familiar with Jokic. He's familiar with Adleman. He's familiar with Jamal Murray. Kroenkes, like, he's more familiar. So I'm actually a little bit more okay if Ben Tenser takes over. I just don't want it to be a no-name, someone that we absolutely do not know. And of course, like, until Ben Tenser his name was popped up, we actually didn't even know who he was. And now we know his name just because the Kroenkes brought him up. But the fact that he's been in the organization for 20 plus years already gives me more confidence that he would be able to run it, rather than bringing someone outside who could sabotage it. I mean, that's exactly what kind of happened with Booth. Booth sabotaged the Nuggets. So I just don't want that to happen again. And I'm a little bit more, I'm on the fence with Bob Myers. I'm more okay with Tim Connolly, but I just don't think Tim Connolly is going to leave Minnesota. I think that they're kind of really focused on trying to win a chip there. And there might be some big moves with that team. I don't know if they're going to be broken up. I kind of don't see them being broken up. Maybe there'll be some moves here and there, slight moves, but I think they're pretty much going to run it back somewhat similarly as the Nuggets are, and they're fairly confident. I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. We didn't, so I just don't see Tim Connelly leaving Minnesota. So then number 2 move that the Nuggets can make in the offseason here is make a bench trade. Got to strengthen the bench. That's trading Zeke Naji, Dario Saric, Hunter Tyson. Some would even put Pickett in there. I mean, he can be good if he has more minutes. He's shown several games this season. He surprised us all with really good games, but then he's not a great playoffs player. So do you get someone that can help you get through the regular season, all 82 games, so that then you can rely more on the key players in the postseason? Or do you get someone that will also help you in the postseason and maybe not help you out as much, in the regular season? But I don't like the talk of trading Julian Strawther. I mean, he's in his second year, and he's learning. He still has a lot to learn. And I just know there is a good player within him. We had the Julian Strawther come out game, right, with the Game 6, where he just went off on the Thunder. There was another game earlier this season where he made like 30 points or something like that, wasn't it? It was a high point percentage. I forget what game it was, but he did have a very good game earlier in the season. So and plus he's working out. And when you see players actually working out and not just relaxing, it gives you some kind of hope. So right now we have seen Julian Strawther working out. We have seen Aaron Gordon working out. And Aaron Gordon is working out. Didn't he just have that hamstring strain? And yet now he's working out, man. Like, dang, he's a dog. He is so, focused on trying to be the best version of himself. And he is such an inspiration. I love Aaron Gordon, man. He is a great nugget to have. And I just really hope that the Nuggets do not trade him. Do not trade him and Jokic. Those 2 players are off the table. Never trade them. And I would maybe put CB in there as well. Like those 3. Jamal, but at least those 3. Do not trade those 3. So moving to the bench here, I don't want to get rid of Julian Strawther. I think there's still some good future in him. I mean, he just started. It would be his 3rd year. Maybe this is the year where he starts to actually show consistency and growth. Maybe he hits the gym more this off season, gains a couple more pounds in muscle, and he can control the ball. Maybe he works on not fouling. I mean, he's the most consistent fouler on the Nuggets, right? The one that always fouled jump shooters at the 3-point line. So hopefully he works on that. And if he just got his defense down more and we're able to make his shots more, he's going to be, a player to reckon with. And then we also have Peyton Watson, who, let's be honest, he's now moving in his 4th year, and he still shows signs of a second year, making the same mistakes as a second year player would make. So do we trade Peyton Watson or do we keep Peyton Watson? I love when Swatson shows up. That energy has been phenomenal for the Nuggets when it comes, but how often does it come? And sometimes you gotta maybe ease off of players and not be so connected with them in order for the greater good of the team. So I could see a trade with Peyton Watson. but I don't like it as much. But if it were to happen, I wouldn't be heartbroken as much as if, Julian Strother was traded or someone else, I'm not going to mention who would be traded. But all of these players here on the bench, if you trade any of them, any of one of these players can't be done one for one. They would need to be another player to sweeten the deal, if you will, since the Nuggets also don't have any draft capital, which leads us to then trading a major starter, which I know the most of you, or most of us, would actually trade Michael Porter Jr. I hate the idea of trading Michael Porter Jr. I'll be honest about that. I hate it. I don't want him to leave the Nuggets. He was drafted by the Nuggets. We have been through the ups and downs with him. He is part of the chip year. But going back to what I said before, sometimes you just gotta divorce yourself from connection with some of these players. And yeah, we had some great times and we won a chip together, but now you've been so inconsistent. You ball watch all the time. Your mind's not in basketball right now. You are so focused on your personal life, which is completely understandable. So maybe now is the time to get out of the MPJ business. I hate to say it. Love Mike, but maybe it's time to leave. If it does happen, I will hate it, but I will understand it. So what could the Nuggets' best option be in trading that involves MPJ? I mean, when we look at the possibilities, I don't mind a trade for DeRozan, but I just don't think DeRozan or the Kings are willing to trade away DeRozan. I think they're still wanting to build something with him there. That's why they also got Zach LaVine. So I don't see them trading him. This is some possible trades for Michael Porter Jr. via Guerrilla Sports. So the Nuggets would trade Michael Porter Jr. to the Kings and would receive DeMar DeRozan, a 2025 second-round draft pick through Chicago, a 2027 second-round pick. I don't see DeRozan getting traded. So the other one is the Nuggets would receive Jeremy Grant and a 2025 first-round pick from the Trailblazers. I kind of like that one a little bit more, but if it was possible, you could also sweeten the deal a little bit more and give them maybe. I'm just really wanting to offload Dario Saric. If you give them also Dario Saric and Zeke Naji, and we get in return Anthony Simons and as well as Jeremy Grant, I could see that. That would be fine. The other one was trading to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Nuggets would receive Ziaire Williams, Darren Sharp, and then a 2025 first-round pick. That's also one that I could possibly see. And then there was one for the Miami Heat, which the Nuggets would receive Andrew Wiggins and Jaquez Jr. That one, I'm more in it for Jaquez Jr. than I am Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is kind of past his prime, and he also, has now been shuffled around too many teams. So the other one, and I absolutely do not agree with this one, is to trade to the Wizards Marcus Smart and Richaun Holmes for Michael Porter Jr. Absolutely no. No way in hell do I want Marcus Smart on the Nuggets. And it's nothing against him as a person. I dig Smart, and if he was 5 years younger, maybe, but now he is just too old, and we wouldn't. It would be worse than what happened with Russell Westbrook. I could also see us getting DeAndre Ayton. That would be kind of cool, or Goga Batadze. I think that would be great to get him. We definitely need a better backup big to help Jokic out when he's not on the floor, other than DeAndre Jordan, who just isn't the backup big that we really need. I mean, he has a couple good games here and there that are amazing, but overall his consistency is just not there, so we need someone. I mean, you look at OKC, and they don't have just one backup big. They have two backup bigs. You have Chet Holmgren, you have Isaiah Hartenstein, and then you have the other Jay Williams. Like, they're stacked. So what scenario can we get a little bit more stacked than we are right now? Get a little bit more depth. It would be nice to have a decent backup big. I mean, I'm confident in Julian Strawther stepping up as a backup point guard. I am also somewhat kind of confident in Peyton Watson stepping up as a backup forward. It's just really that hole is in the center spot. We just have not been able to find the best backup big. But if trade rumors or roster rumors are accurate, there is a possibility where we get Brucey Brown back. And I'm all for that. I love Bruce Brown. I think we all love Bruce Brown. My only thing is that I think I said this in the last episode, was that he's been beaten up in the last two teams that he's played with the Raptors and the Pelicans. He's barely played. The last time he was actually good was when he was with the Pacers and the initial run after winning the chip. But he was with them only for like the first half of the 23-24 season. So like he went to the Cup finals with them, right, against the Lakers. And then he got traded probably immediately after that. So I would love Brucey Brown back. I would hope that he would have the same kind of effect he had in 2023. But, who knows? Weirder things have happened. So let me know what you think in the comments of what's the best trade for giving away Michael Porter Jr. What's the best outcome there that you think? And what kind of moves would you want to see the Nuggets make in this offseason that would make you feel a little bit more confident going into the new season? I mean, for me also, it's just really also seeing what the players are doing right now. If they're relaxing and have a good time, then I'm a little bit worried, to be honest. Even though it's the finals, we're not even done with this season. Like, they've been out of the playoffs now for several weeks. So rest time is done. It's time to get back to work. And I hope that I saw a clip of Jokic playing some kind of volleyball or whatever. And I hope that he is still being very aggressive with playing, with practicing and hitting the gym and everything. Because then the other thing that you need to talk about, and I don't think is getting enough, unfortunately, like the weirdest thing, you would think that this would get the most amount of coverage because it's the Lakers, and the Lakers always get coverage, even when they're not relevant right now, because they're not in the playoffs still. Like, you would think this would get more coverage, but it's getting a little bit of coverage here and there on social media, more so than on the actual TV. But Luka Doncic, y'all, he is fit. He lost a ton of weight within, a month and a half, a month or whatever. Talk about someone who lost in round one and came back with a drive to prove people wrong. He is now, using the trade from the Dallas Mavericks to get him to be better. And I hate to say it, but he's not leaving LA yet, everyone. I don't see a scenario where he comes to Denver and plays with Jokic. As much as we all would love that scenario, and I would trade Jamal Murray to get Luka in Denver, because I honestly think that Luka and Jokic would have even better chemistry. I just don't see a scenario now where that happens. I think LeBron has molded now Luka into the next big thing for the Lakers, the next big player, and he's staying in LA. So now we have to worry about LA more. I think LA is going to be a more difficult team to play against next season. I think they're a sleeper team that is not being kind of talked about enough. I am no longer worried about the Celtics. I think that they're getting broken up this offseason, and they're not going to be relevant next season. The ones that will be, though, as far as the East goes, I think the Cavs are going to be more pissed off that they lost in round 2 when they had the best record in the league. So I think they're going to come back with more fire and drive. I think it's left to be seen what will happen with the Knicks, especially after losing Tibbs. Are they going to find the right coach that helps them get back? Are they going to keep the same roster? Who knows? I mean, there's talk of Giannis going to the Knicks, and we'll see. Obviously, the Bucks are not going to be anything next year, so you pretty much got the same kind of scenario happening in the East. It's going to be this possibly the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Pacers are going to be the main drive on the East side. For the West side, though, I actually think the Spurs are going to be a huge sleeper that everyone's not focused on next season. I think they are going to make the playoffs, and I think they're going to be deep into the playoffs. I think they could go as far as round 2, maybe the Western Conference Finals next season. I feel if Wemby is healthy, they have a lot riding for them. They have Fox, they have Wemby, they have CP3, and now there's talk of Durant going there. And if they get Durant, that might be a problem. So that might be a problem for the rest of the Western Conference. I think they're going to be more dominant. I think now the Lakers are going to be more dominant. They most likely will get some kind of movement to get another big on there. And when you have Luka in shape, and then obviously LeBron's going to still be in shape, but he's an old man now, and he's like looking at the second to last season for him, or the last season for him. And then they still have decent other players. I mean, Austin Reeves and Don Knecht are great players. So I will not put them out. I think they still are very relevant for next season, despite as much as I hate them. I think they're still relevant. And then we haven't really heard much from the Clippers. They've been kind of silent. So if they make any moves, if they don't, I still honestly think they can go far with the players that they have right now. We were the only roadblock for them. I think that they could have also given OKC a run for their money. So, I mean, it's just all a matter of health for them. If Harden stays healthy, if Kawhi Leonard stays healthy, they've got a good squad to go back to the playoffs with. And then you have the Warriors, and I think that they're going to have a chip on their shoulder as well, being defeated by the Timberwolves. I think they could have actually won that series against the Timberwolves had Steph not gotten eliminated. But obviously the Jazz are going nowhere, and the Phoenix Suns are going nowhere. But Portland might be a bigger threat next season. They've gotten steadily more effective each season now. They're kind of growing back to the more dominant team that they were a couple seasons ago. So I think they may be like more where the Kings are. I don't think the Kings are going to be a big threat next season, but I think they'll at least they have a chance of making the play-in. I think for the Blazers, Spurs are making playoffs. I feel like next season. I'm just going to call that right now. Spurs are going to make the playoffs. I think the Trailblazers are going to be in the play-in, and along with the Kings again. And then who knows about the Grizzlies? I mean, if they are as effective as they were in the beginning of the season, or more towards like the middle of the season, they could still have a good run, but they also have head coach issues. So what's going to happen with them? I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And who do you see as a sleeper right now that will come out better next season? It's a good thing to think about. So just stuff to distract us from not being in the finals right now. But hopefully the Pacers are able to win this whole thing, and hopefully they're able to win Game 3 and 4. But I'll definitely be rooting for them. I'm definitely excited to watch them now play, because there's a lot there that is very similar to Nuggets basketball, and I dig them. Despite them taking out my Knicks, I still like them, so I think they deserve a chip. I don't think OKC deserves a chip, so I'm going to root for the Pacers. And hopefully you are too. We don't need any more OKC fans. So that's pretty much all I got for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it out to your friends and family. And you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.